in which I make little plans. This is going to be our arm standing under that tree with the easel. I said, yeah, that's it. And I set up and I did a sketch, a quick sketch. And the plan was to have a white that moved through the painting here, connected with my center of interest, and then had a couple of little echoes back in here. And then the color of the trees was going to pull it together. That was the plan. Here, connected with my center of interest, and then had a couple of little echoes back in here. And then the color of the trees was going to pull it together. That was the plan. And tonight I'm going to try to do that painting for you. I've divided it up, the paper, in a big tic-tac-toe mark. A lot of this I'm teaching the choir, and a lot of you know about these things. But for a lot of artists, and myself included, it seems to work for me because I'm a representational artist and I try to make nice pictures. We're with him tonight, alone to me, because I had waves with watercolor many, many years ago. When I learned how to paint in watercolor, I had Windsor blue, and burnt umber were the first two colors that Ted Crosby taught you to use in waves with watercolor. And I had done a lot of oil painting. I painted literally blocks of wall murals in stores and things when that was fashioned, when I was in the sign business. But when I started painting in watercolors, I had to learn how to use this medium, and I started with this blue and burnt umber. And he suggested that you plan, and this plan is in a gray. It's got 3 or 4 values in it, three values at least. This value, the really dark value, and then some of the values that are created by textural repeats over the face of it. But the white is the thing, and when I did the painting was long gone, many years ago when I did this. When I did the painting, I thought about this white up here and this white, and I said this should be connected a little more solidly, and I connected this white a little more solidly, and I made this shape a little bit different. But the plan showed me that. Now I'm going to paint it. I thought I'd bring it and show it to you. But if you squint at it, you'll see, if you just squint at it and see the large shapes in it, you'll see how I planned today. Pretty much with one value, and I use the one value to signify everything from, well, this is the real crude one. This is the real crude one, and it didn't work out. I wish, I just recently discovered that if you have that little white typo repair, little bottle of white typo repair, from now I'm going to carry that thing around with me because I have a lot of little sketchbooks that I do small plans in all the time. And that little white typo repair, you can say, oh, wait a minute, if I sketch the white out, I'm working outside, which is fine. Okay. I've got a bunch of colors in my palette here. I'm not even altogether sure of everything that's in there. But what the heck? It's a piece of paper. We're not going to worry too much about it. Maybe I'll just wet that sky a little bit with a sponge first, so I can get it done a little quicker. Just throw a little water on here anyway. And then I've got some burnt orange in here. I'm gonna throw that first wash in there with a little burnt orange and whatever that other color is, raw sienna. And I'm gonna keep that sky kind of warm. And I'm just gonna throw some color in here to start with. Stand. Can I get in there? Maybe I'll put a little warm yellow. Okay, then we've got to have some blue in this guy. Let's see, what are we going to use? Cobalt. Anybody got any ideas? French ultramarine? What's this? Manganese? Yes. Yes. Maybe a little pink too. Why not? A little of everything. between here, and we're gonna do some of that. I'm gonna have to run that dryer. Not crazy about that, but I have to do it. Okay. This figure that I've got in here, see, I've got a white pattern coming up into here. I'm going to just try to get that background all in there first, and then come back in and do the figure. Probably going to talk less because I'm not going to understand myself what I'm talking about. Just making noise. Whoops. Where did that come from? I don't want that. The tree distance that still have some color. I'm going to float a little color in here and just kind of suggest those. Actually, I shouldn't be using water in that. Pretty quick, probably, the way I do it. And maybe I'll start with a few greens. Now I've got a permanent green here. That's awful by itself. But if you put something with it, permanent green is kind of nice. Permanent green light. It gives you a nice color. And along that shoreline there was a lot of green stuff that came down to the water. Save the whites, Nels. Mom was here, she'd say, save the whites. Just going to throw some of these in here. Get a little sap green too. Use some of that. Oh, this is too much fun. Are we having too much fun? And then there's a big old stick sticking out of that pond. This is a big pond, by the way. We don't want all that's what really is. And I think about shapes here now. These are kind of, these will change a little bit
right.
when I start to write. You see, I did think about these shapes. I wanted this color to kind of go down towards my center of interest. This hill kind of go down towards my center of interest. These things are mostly horizontal. There's a couple of hard verticals to give me some balance. As far as dominance goes, I would assume that it's a horizontal dominance, but not much. I probably could be more. But because of these legs of this thing, this stuff, and these, and then some marks in the trees, trunks back in there, that verticality will come back into play. Ted used to always, he'd put in his darks. If he was doing trees, he'd throw in that big dark tree, and then he'd go back in and foliage in later. That's kind of a fun color. Yeah. But that shape is too repetitive over there, but it's going to change. There's probably some more of this green in here, which wouldn't hurt. What are we doing here? Let's see. A little more green down here. Where painting is, it's a hobby. For me, I paint and I sell paintings, yes, I'm not in the business of selling paintings. For me, painting is a way to express myself. It's a way to get totally involved in an environment. And that's what I do when I'm outside painting. Now, and I also talk way too much. So I'm going to start throwing some color in here. All my color is coming down in here. Isn't that it? I'm going to throw a couple more greens in here too. Just warm greens at this point, and then we're gonna do a little drying because everybody voted on the on the paintings? Do we have to look at those?
Well, how about 8 o'clock?
Can we take a break?
8 o'clock.
Okay, you tell me when we're going to take a break. All right, I'm gonna run a dryer on it. No, listen. For a second. Now, this green is kind of a lot of fun. I'm going to try to finish, or at least bring these trees into some sort of organization here. And I'm going to start with this bright color. And I'm going to just put some on the bottom of the trees, some darks. I don't very often use, they tell you that you should use complements to darken a color. I don't do that very often. Most of the time I use the color itself, or another one within the family. Sometimes I'll use a complement. Most of the time I don't.
Why do you do that?
Well, it makes the painting more lively. I think complements, put enough complement in a color, you mud. And even though Milford Zorn said mud is a color, I said, don't you get mud? In order to make it, oh no, it wasn't either. It was Ted Gershner said in order to make his colors of things more lively, if you're going to shade an apple, stay away from the green for the dark. The complement of red. Use a darker red. Use alizarin. And for the warm side of the apple, use something within the same color family. Go to orange and then go to yellow. Then you'll have an apple that really looks like you want to take a bite out of it, rather than a picture of an apple. I don't know whether it's too nice. And then, boy, she's got a blue coat and that yellow hillside down there behind, and where her hair is, I'm going to just throw in a cool shadow there around that hair. I'm already thinking about that. And I'm going to soften some edges around here. I don't want that shadow to be, oh, the head is up there, let's make the shadow go up over it. We don't want to do that. But I can just sort of put some lighten it up here and there. Keep it cool. Put this bank area in here, and it's going to sort of, that's the edge of my pond back there, and I don't want it to be all the same, but I'm going to just throw a dark in there to establish that. And take some greens and build a little structure in here. You know, that kind of stuff. I make little notes on them. I can't stress enough the idea that you really have to plan if you're going to be a good painter. I think planning is everything. And in planning, I don't always do a very good job of planning, but I think the paintings that I really carefully plan are the ones that work out the best for me. Found art. I mean, I know there are a lot of people who do this, just let it happen, and this wonderful stuff happens. But I think they throw away a lot more paper than I do. Color that's in there now. I want to be sure I'm going to save my whites. I've got a white streak back in here that I want to save. I'm going to throw this in here. That's a white streak. That's a little third white. I've got give you a 1, 2, 3 thing. Up here with the white, and then a couple of little reflections back in here. So I throw this in here, and when I do that, I quickly go back in with some other colors. Nothing wrong with having it dramatic. You get excited. Just getting work. This side of the tree is another, this little piece in here. Let's see here. edge down here, see? Let's see, I'm gonna do this edge too. And that's gonna be dry brush too. Kind of like that edge to overlap over that shadow. So, then the back of that, I'm getting closer to me now. I'm getting closer to me. And this is getting up pretty close. So the edge of this will probably be, use some color now, so don't be chicken. Will probably be even more, and maybe even have a kind of little waves patterns in it. But when I get that done, because now I get to go and throw in, ooh, wow, oil painter. I get to throw in my greens and my other colors and just drop them in there and just have a good time. Thinking a little bit about what's in the back. Some painters, some of my dearest teachers have said, Charles Reed always said, don't tell people what kind of brush you're using. But look at this. I'm telling you what kind of brush I'm using. This is going to be, this easel back here is going to be a warm color like this. Same stuff. So it's going to be a warm color. Why not put a cool color next to it, Nels? Okay. Now, what does it need? That reflection should be a little bit more, should have some more good colors in it. You could even have a little cadmium in it. Ooh. I'm not getting any. Can you imagine dipping into cadmium and not getting any?